Hello, wrestling fans. Blake Smith from Walking the Ropes, and welcome to another episode of Walking the Ropes Wrestling Review for AEW Dynamite from Jacksonville, Florida. To open the show, we had Tony Khan standing with Tony Schiavone in the ring, and he's got a huge announcement. He talks about, or he kind of hypes up Revolution and everything, and I don't know. I always get this feeling like Tony Khan kind of looks like he always has a gun to his head because he's kind of looking like, yeah. He moves on and then says he has signed a big deal and he now owns Ring of Honor, which is an absolutely huge thing for AEW. And I can't wait to see where that goes. He then announces that Christopher Daniels will take on Bryan Danielson in a rematch of the first Ring of Honor show ever. We then get, like he just said, singles match between Christopher Daniels and Bryan Danielson. They start with the Code of Honor and then go on exactly like you'd expect. Chain wrestling to feel each other out, and then boom, flick the switch and go apeshit. They start mocking each other and then continue with this great technical bout. Daniels takes to the sky with a springboard moonsault and then jumps into a kick from Danielson. Neither man gains the advantage for long, as they both almost show off when they get a chance to, but Danielson starts to take full control as he locks in a series of submissions that Christopher ends up having to fight out of and sends Bryan crashing. Daniels sets up for the Angel's Wings, but Bryan fights out and then hits the big flying boot, and he really can't get anything from it, and they continue to go back and forth until Christopher Daniels goes for the best moonsault ever, but Bryan catches him in the triangle, and that's it. He puts him to sleep with the elbows to the forehead. Bryan Danielson defeats Christopher Daniels, and for my Malteser scale, I gave this a 4.25 out of 5. It was a great match. I absolutely loved it. And for the WTR scale, I gave it a 4 out of 5 because, the pure nostalgia for this match, it was great. After the match, Bryan explains the Code of Honor, then picks up Daniels' limp hand and shakes it, and then says he's in AEW now, and he starts kicking in Daniels' head. Moxley comes out and says Bryan is better and more violent than ever. And Mox says that he's at a crossroad, and Bryan thinks that he's going to end up kicking Moxley's head in. Moxley says that he will walk through Bryan and beat him, and says his story is only just beginning. And then they square up to fight, and Bryan rolls out of the ring to fight another day. Sting and Darby talk about the rules and how nobody is allowed to get involved in their trios tornado match against the Andrade Hardy family office, and they don't care. They're going to do what they always do, which is just kick ass, basically. We then get a casino tag team royal match, I guess you would call it, to determine the third team in the triple threat tag title match at Revolution. Jesus, that's a mouthful. And this is a different style than last week. Each team is getting entrances coming in 90-second intervals, and the first two teams are FTR and the returning Top Flight. Dante's been on his own for a long time, but finally Darius is back, and they will 100% be making a run for the title soon, if not at Revolution. The rest of the field enters and as follows: the Acclaimed, Dark Order 10 and 5, Butcher and the Blade, Varsity Blondes, Bear Country, Santana and Ortiz, Best Friends, Dark Order, Stu and Uno, the Young Bucks, the Wingmen, the Gun Club, Brock Anderson and Lee Johnson, and finally 2.0. This Battle Royal is awesome. Just like the last one, it is hard-hitting action as everyone quickly piles in, and the ring has almost every team in it, bar a handful of people, and every team has a great showing. If I had to guess at this moment, Top Flight might take this, or maybe even the Young Bucks. Unlike the last time, most teams had all their members when one team goes out, they typically go out one right after another, not like there's not like a big gap between them. The final three are FTR, Top Flight, and the Young Bucks, and they all break off, and Dante ends up taking himself and Cash for the elimination there. Red Dragon then comes out, and if I had to guess, they're going to cost the Bucks here soon. FTR then then gets taken out, and it's just Darius versus the Young Bucks. He fights them off and does well for a while, but the numbers catch up, and Darius still fights them off to get rid of Nick, and he almost gets rid of Matt at the same time, but they go back and forth on the ropes, and Matt low blows Darius, and then is super kicked, and Matt wins for the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks win the Battle Royal to qualify for the Revolution Triple Threat title match. From a multi-user scale, I gave it a 4 out of 5. It was a very good match. For the WTR scale, I gave it a 5 out of 5 because this story is awesome, and I am looking forward to where this is going. After the match, Red Dragon and the Young Bucks stand off in the ring as Jurassic Express comes out to the stage. If I had to guess, this match is going to end up being Red Dragon and the Young Bucks costing each other these titles, and Jurassic Express ends up winning because of that. CM Punk then makes his way to the ring and says he used to wake up and ask if he was the bad guy. Until last week, though, MJF, he thought MJF was the bad guy, and says it takes courage for MJF to do what he did last week. He talks about MJF's history and says hurt people hurt people. And says everyone should take responsibility for their own actions, and then asks MJF to come out for a talk. MJF comes out once again to no music and gets in the ring. He does look more himself, but he's still not acting himself. MJF says he used to be MJF and runs down all the bad shit he did in as vague a way as he possibly can to not get copyright struck. And even hinted specifically at the end about what he did with Jeff before Jeff would end up leaving WWE during the world title picture. Just typical, more hinting at Jeff Hardy coming into the AEW, which I can't wait. Punk says he asked himself if he's the good guy, and the answer is he's trying. He extends his hand out to MJF and tosses the mic aside. MJF slaps the hand away and hugs him. They have a genuine, sincere moment, and then he looks Punk in the eyes and kicks him in the dick. He then takes off his suit and reveals a shirt with a picture of him and Punk, and beckons Wardlow and Spears to the ring, and they hand him his diamond ring, and he beats Punk down with it as FTR fights off security. Punk is bloodied and literally spitting blood out of his head, as MJF has the collar on him as Spears is like guillotining him with it. He then tells Punk the best thing the devil ever did was to be hidden, I believe. And at Revolution, he's going to show everyone he is the devil. Darby, Sting, and Sammy come out to make the save, and they chase off MJF. Keith Lee talks about the ladder match, and before he can, he's interrupted by Ricky again. And Lee says to not do it a third time or it will be bad for him. Ricky tells Lee to not show up at Rampage because that is his territory. And Lee doesn't look scared as Ricky and Hobbs leave. We then get a tag team match, Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter versus Mercedes Martinez and Thunder Rosa. And these women start out hard and fast as they take out Jamie quickly and then target Britt in the ring. They work surprisingly well together. I guess it's true, the enemy of my enemy is really my friend, and they are really pissed off at Britt. Rosa is hoping to take up to get the leg up where she for her challenge at Revolution, and in my opinion, she's going to take the title. Rosa is getting beaten down for a long time, and it looks like it's going to be ended here until Rosa fights out and tags in Martinez, who comes in and clears house. Eventually Martinez dives for a tag, and Rosa comes in and gets a near fall, and the champ was only stopped by Hayter. A pinfall on the champ. As Revolution At Revolution, that would have been it. And in the ring, after a bit of confusion, Rosa hits the Fire Thunder driver for the win as Martinez takes out the cronies. And she got the pin on Baker, which, I mean, in wrestling terms, if we think about it on Saturday, she's likely going to retain then. Just if we're doing 50-50 booking, which AEW doesn't typically do. So we shall see. Malteser scale, I gave it a 3.25 out of 5. It was a very good match. I'm excited to see where it goes. And for the WTR scale, I gave it a 3 out of 5, or 3.5 out of 5. The story is building quite well, and I'm excited to see where that is going. Ty Conti goes to talk about her challenge for the TBS Championship, but is quickly interrupted by Mark Sterling and Jade Cargill. They tell her they don't really care about her background and that Ty can't touch Jade before their match at all. Statlander and Layla recap their history, and they are ready to fight. We get a very quick singles match, Wardlow versus Cesar Bononi. It's a little surprising to see Cesar here, as he seems a little bit more of a challenge for Wardlow, but Wardlow quickly fires up the symphony and gets the win. Wardlow defeats Cesar Bononi, and from a Malteser scale, I gave this a 3 out of 5. I mean, we know these are how this is going to be, but beating somebody bigger than you is still impressive no matter what. For my WTR scale, I gave this a 3 out of 5, again, because it's just exactly like I just said. We know where this is going. Wardlow then stops Spears from smashing Cesar with the chair, and then stares him down and scares off Spears. The House of Black talks about Penta, and it seems that this is what they've been wanting the whole time. Shawn Spears and Wardlow talk backstage, and MJF tells him that he will let him win the title even though he doesn't think Wardlow will. And Wardlow says it's because he's always having to save MJF. So MJF slaps him and reminds him that he is Wardlow's boss. And finally, we have a trios tag team match. Adam Page, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds versus Adam Cole and Red Dragon. This will be a great taste of what's to come this week, as Cole backs out and tags in Fish, who starts out strong with Page but eats a big boot, ending his momentum, and Page just dominates, almost sending a message to Cole. Page then fights off both members of Red Dragon before tagging in Silver, and the tag team work starts really well for Dark Order. This match has been great as Red Dragon used their speed and heel antics to outsmart Page in the Dark Order, so they eventually are able to really control everything. They eventually are able to control over Reynolds, allowing Cole to get the step ahead, but it doesn't help that Cole and Red Dragon are cheating as well. Finally, they have to go again, but when I say they, Page and Page, Adam and Adam, they have to go again, but Cole backs out, tagging in the way less fresh Kyle, who I believe just tagged out, who is basically fed to Page, and he just takes control with a huge powerbomb as Cole is looking on. He finally thinks it's fine to get in the ring, but they have no choice to go now as Page pops up and they brawl. Hangman looks like he might have it won, but Reynolds takes over and eats a big super kick, and Cole lowers the boom for the win. Adam Cole and Red Dragon defeat Alex Reynolds, John Silver, and Adam Page. For my Malteser scale, I gave this a 3.75 out of 5. It was a very good match, but the aftermath and kind of all the underlying stuff is more what's important, like what Page was doing during all the, or what Cole was doing during all this, and even what Page was doing during all of this. And that's why for the WTR scale, I give this a 5 out of 5, because I feel like this is exactly what we needed heading into Revolution. After the match, Red Dragon tries to take out Silver and Reynolds, but Page stops them and sets up for the buckshot, but his legs are kicked out, and Cole and Red Dragon take Page to the ropes so they can beat down his friends in front of him. Hangman tries to fight back, but Cole super kicks him and then hands him the title again and walks off. My overall for the show is a 5 out of 5. This was a perfect final Dynamite before Revolution, and I just can't wait to see Revolution. My segment of the night is Tony buys Ring of Honor. I think that's just a huge get for AEW, and I'm so excited because that just means, yes, the roster's getting bigger for AEW, but that also means there's more time for all of these performers to compete, and I can't wait to see it. My match of the night goes to Daniels versus Danielson. They did amazing, and it really was a perfect rematch of that match from Ring of Honor. And my performers of the night, it goes to Paige and Cole. They told a beautiful story inside of that trios match, and it was just amazing. But that is all for this episode of Walking the Ropes Wrestling Review. Thank you all for dropping in. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notifications whenever we upload a video. And I'll see you in the next one.